Welcome to the official YouTube channel for the Colin Cowherd podcast. Go on, hit the subscribe button. There you go, right down there. If you want to be among the first to hear my weekly takes, NFL, college football, more, right there. All right, instant reaction on the Knicks' narrow win at home. Trailed for much of the game, but made the big plays down the end in the fourth. Once again, the Nova trio combined for 92 points, shot 60% from the field, 50% from three, and only sat for 10 minutes. Indiana's a deeper team. You know, Indiana, over a 6 or 7 game series, should be fresher in game 6 or 7. But the Garden's a tough place. I mean, I really felt for long portions of the game, Indiana, I felt like the Knicks were chasing the Pacers for 3.5 quarters. But then the Knicks, DiVincenzo draws the foul, and that was the right call. They went to the replay. You know, people will say, I don't love it being called at that time. It's the right call. You get very, whenever I hear, well, I wouldn't call it in that moment. Well, okay, 30 seconds earlier, is it okay? Is it a minute earlier, is it okay? It's the right call. So the Pacers are a deeper team. But again, DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, they all made huge plays down the stretch. Josh Hart you're just not going to get many offensive nights like that from Josh Hart. But I will say this about the Knicks, especially in big spots. They're a very intentional team. They have almost no bad possessions. And they're a limited offensive team. So they come down. They're very intentional. They get good looks. Jalen Brunson is just too quick. His first step's insane. And so for his size, he gets so many good shots. He really does. He can really quickly separate. Indiana's going to be a handful. They're long. Miles Turner, they had a couple of the best dunks of the season. Former Nick Obi Toppin. That was an ode to New York on that between-the-leg slam dunk. Aaron Nesmith also had one of the most vicious dunks I've seen in the playoffs. But, despite the bench, early in the game, I wrote this down. The bench points in the first half were Indiana 27, New York 1. So I keep saying to myself, how long can New York, keep playing these guys maximum minutes? At some point they wear down, but they don't. They didn't against Philadelphia. And the Knicks, there's a lot of self-belief when you watch New York. Like they're a very confident offensive team down the stretch. DiVincenzo's sort of a bounce around the league guy. Every time he let go of the ball late in the game, you thought it's in. Playing with a ton of confidence. And that's what winning breeds. And New York is playing, it feels like above itself, but we have to remember, are they playing above themselves in the Eastern Conference against these teams? Indiana's young. You start looking at the East right now with Dame and Giannis missing their series, most of it for Dame. The Knicks, I've watched all these teams. They look like the second best team in the East. I thought Philadelphia had more talent. Embiid's hurt. What's new? And they were the better team, especially in second half, especially in fourth quarters. So I have copious notes here. Third quarter, Knicks, I thought, were getting into a little trouble. And then New York starts the fourth with an 8-0 run. Then later they have either a 7 or a 9-0 run. Brunson hits a big shot. So I think like in football, we would call the Knicks a very good situational football team. They make the plays when you have to make the plays. And that's what I see when I watch New York. That Villanova hustle, effort. Brunson's unstoppable, gets incredibly good shots, effective. They pass the ball incredibly well. It'd be easy to say the Knicks know what they're not, but they're playing with such belief right now. In the Eastern Conference, I don't know. Boston's deeper, better, has more high-end talent, but when I watch New York play, I think their belief in a late game against the Celtics, I don't know. My concerns about Boston are late game situations. New York is money late. They are great late. Just so many big shots, so many big runs. People are going to talk about DiVincenzo, Miles Turner, and that blocking call, but he was moving. And, I think in situations like that, you just, you know, I don't love at the end of NBA games how many reviews they have, but you got to get it right. They're pretty quick. There were 3 or 4 go either way plays that if you didn't have replay, that's all I'd talk about tomorrow on FS1. That's all I would talk about. But the replays get it right, and the New York Knicks made the big plays late and deserved to win. It's crazy. They are right now the best watch easily in the playoffs. And Indiana's got a good team. Haliburton's not as good as he was earlier in the season. They've got good length. They've got a tremendous bench. TJ McConnell, for a little guy to make the league and not be able to shoot threes very well is strange, but he's a bit of a thorn. You could see him later in the series being a thorn for the Knicks, but these basketball games in the playoffs are close. And a lot of it is, do you have really intentional possessions? And they did. And New York's excellent defensively. They gave up a couple of open jumpers in the second half, which is rare for New York. But, I felt 3/4 of the game, Indiana was going to win. No question, though, 5 minutes left. I just felt like New York would make the big buckets at home, feeding off the energy of the Garden, which is incredible. I love watching New York play. I'm trying to think of a team that reminds me of this team. And I mean, that Miami team in the bubble that was young and got to the final against the Lakers and lost. It was you had some youth. That was the year that a lot of the older teams in the bubble got injured, underachieved. And Miami was that rare young team that got into the playoffs and just played over its skis. But when I watch the Knicks, I keep waiting for reality with Josh Hart. I look at his career average, I look at the player he is, or DiVincenzo, and they keep making big plays and big shots. The NBA playoffs are heating up. Man, they have been so good. I know it's over, but Lakers Nuggets may have been a 5-game series. It was great. Knicks, Sixers, amazing. Why don't you sign up for the DraftKings Sportsbook app? It takes 90 seconds. The official sports betting partner of the NBA. If you're in DraftKings, once you sign up, you got to check this out. New customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Great proposition, right? $5, you get $150. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. The code's Colin, C-O-L-I-N. It's me, C-O-L-I-N. Really quick, really easy. If you've never bet sports before, check it out. Really makes the games fun. The code is Colin. New customers get $150 in bonus bets by betting 5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. I'm waiting for it to end, and it hasn't. So big win, especially off how exhausting that series was against Philadelphia, to come out with that kind of game and those kind of minutes. The Villanova guys were worth 92 points and only sat for 10 minutes. 60% on field goals, 50% on threes. That's crazy. Playoff numbers. That's crazy on a Tuesday night in Orlando in, January, when teams are coming off a back-to-back and nobody's playing defense. To do it in the playoffs is insane. Instant reaction. Let's go watch the Nuggets T-Wolves.